It's party time, mama. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show.
I need a Red Bull.
Yeah, I know. Natalie, you're cold, aren't you?
I'm cold.
Why are you so cold?
It's
I'm
cold
wearing the
in
same
here.
T-shirt all week long.
It's cold in here.
Yeah, I got to sneeze now. I'm hang on.
Bless
There it is.
you,
COVID, coronavirus. It's everywhere. It's all over the mind. A sanitation crews. I just picture, you know how in Monsters, Inc., whenever they touched a child or one of the child's things, they come back through and all those, the whatever monsters in the hazmat suits come down out of the sky and they shave them all off and they fumigate them and stuff. That's what I expect every time I cough in public.
Yeah.
Like just people in hazmat suits come
We're
tackle
not
me.
far away from that.
No, we're not.
We're getting really close to defumigation.
Well, I was watching the other day. I was watching a basketball game. Not at home. I don't have television at home. I mean, I have a monitor, but nothing comes out of it. I was at a restaurant, a sports bar, whatever you want to call it, and the basketball game was on, and they kept showing their little public service announcement of in their dome or their bubble or whatever the NBA's doing, and the whole thing was about sanitizing everything, and I'm like, this is an advertisement for basketball, and they're sanitizing the facilities, and they're doing all this stuff. I'm like, this whole thing is crazy.
I don't think their sanitizers affect a virus like it does, say, bacteria, because bacteria and viruses are constructed differently.
If you social distance, and you wear a mask, then you have nothing to worry about. I'm so tired of Corona. I'm over. I'm done with it.
I can't.
I'm done with it. The only time I ever deal with it is when I have to go and get on an airplane.
And they make you.
And they make you do it. And
Yeah.
I don't have the energy for the fuss and all that stuff. The Puppet Master Mark, he's the perfectionist. He's driving us into the nether regions of all things China today. We'll talk about China some more with a very special guest, Peter Schweizer. His new documentary is going to be out on BlazeTV, exclusive for BlazeTV subscribers, and we'll give you some more information about the documentary that you cannot miss. This is assignment time, folks. I'm telling you, if you watch this show and you're not a BlazeTV subscriber, you need to use the promo code. You can get Dragon 20. It'll give you $20 off. You get a full year subscription for like what, $69, $70, something like that. It's like $69. Mm-hmm. Get the dadgum thing. Get it with the promo code. I don't know what it is. $70 a year. You gotta have it. You gotta have it, folks. Oh, Chance, the soulless ginger rapper. Stop judging me. Stop your judgments of me, Chance. Candice, the queen of the Ethiopians, just in time. Everybody's over there hanging out. Party Val's at the pub.
I'm glad to be back.
I'm glad
after the whole vagina.
Yeah,
day.
The Vagina Awareness Day back on Monday. Yeah, that was.
Man, people missed me like crazy. It made me feel great.
A lot of people sent you messages
and all on the news feed. Where's
just
Party
been
Foul
nonstop.
Steve?
Where's Party Foul
They're
Steve?
like,
Wyatt and Party Foul Steve.
Yeah, that's like that touched my heart.
No, it's my time with the ladies. It's ladies' night, and I get to be the moderator.
That's funny because I felt like you couldn't get it over soon enough.
Huh?
Uh-huh. Yep.
I just wish people could hear what y'all talk about during the breaks. You know what? We used to have this thing called a podcast. Now this is a television show with commercial breaks and all that kind of stuff that we have to go to. But I wish people could hear the break because y'all talk about some stuff.
Well,
women are nasty,
all right.
Candace.
That's true.
Women are nasty. They're the nasty ones. I mean, you're pretty decent in public, but let me tell you, hot news ain't.
We learned it from watching you strong
No, that's
men.
not true. Y'all are nasty. Y'all talk about stuff. Lisa Page off air. Oh my God. She is X-rated. She is 4 foot of X.
Yeah, I like her.
You gotta love her. Gotta love her.
like
Hey,
her.
it seems like things are trying to open back up. Doesn't mean everything's okay, of course. You still got to wash your hands. You should do that anyway. Apparently, they're telling us to social distance. You got to do that. I want you to take Field of Greens. I want you to take Field of Greens. I almost took my Dawn to Dusk pill right here on this segment. Every scoop of Field of Greens is going to give you a full serving of real USDA certified organic fruits and vegetables, which boosts energy and supports a healthy immune system. Plus, a diet of fruits and vegetables is going to reduce your chance of heart disease, hypertension, and a whole host of health issues. I love my Dawn to Dusk. Let me tell you something. Take it every single morning. Every single morning. I drink the field of greens. I do it a couple times a day. It's good. It's prebiotic. It's probiotic. It's a great source of vitamins, fiber, and other nutrients. I just got 2 new packages of it in.
Really?
It just came in. Boy, they sent me the dawn dust. And then the sleep aid that you get, oh, snoozy time. Let me tell you, it's got the melatonin in it. I don't want to give away all the ingredients. Listen, you stir it up in a glass of water. You take that powder, boom, put a little dump of it in there. And then you drink it, and it tastes good. Right now, I'm going to save 15% off your first order with offer code CHAD at brickhousechad.com, brickhousechad.com. Subscribe today. Put your little dumpy powder right in there. That makes you laugh, doesn't it, Natalie? Anyway, you can't control the world you live in, but you sure can make sure you're giving your body a fighting chance. I want you to get Field of Greens today. Go to brickhousechad.com, brickhousechad.com. Use offer code CHAD. We'll be right back. So I'm always excited whenever we have great guests, but I love it when great guests come back. And so today we welcome back Peter Schweizer. Peter has got this incredible documentary that is going to be exclusive on BlazeTV, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit. Are you just? I mean, you wrote a book on it, so you gotta. Does your mind? You ever just look at the hypocrisy of the left and go, "Oh, that's just how they are."
Yeah,
or does it shock you anymore?
It's like everything you think about that gets normalized.
Yeah.
Think of stuff that gets normalized that 10 years ago was not normalized. And I think, I just don't want certain things to be normalized. And I don't think we should have different standards for different people. Yeah. Should judge people by the same standards. I know what you're saying. Like, it happens so much. It happens repeatedly. And you're like, this is just kind of regular, but I refuse to let it become something just normal.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be called out because here's the thing about it. I've thought about this. Think about this for a second. Hypocrisy is when you abandon your principles and you adopt something else. Mm-hmm. When somebody who's conservative abandons their principles, like, let's say they believe in, like, the sanctity of marriage, but they cheat on their wife, or, some other thing. What usually happens is they screw up their life. Right? Their life gets worse because they abandon their principles. What happens to somebody on the left if they abandon their principles? Think of, like, the rich liberal who, puts their money in tax shelters because they don't want to pay as much taxes, or they're in favor of public schools, but they put their kids in private schools. Yeah. When they abandon their principles, they actually improve their lives. So what that tells us is how faulty their ideas are to begin with. Right. And I want that to be something that people focus on.
As you're saying that, I was reminded of talk show host John Oliver. John Oliver comes over. He and his wife buy a $9 million penthouse apartment in Manhattan, and they use a tax loophole that was actually created by Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing.
Right. And they probably have denounced those things in other cases.
Exactly.
But they're going to take it. That's exactly right. That's a classic example. Or you think about one of the famous ones. I wrote a book years ago called Do As I Say, Not As I Do.
Right.
Profiles in Liberal Hypocrisy. And the one there was that, Ted Kennedy was always talking about the death tax, the inheritance tax. We need to have it. Yeah. And I went back and looked at Ted Kennedy's generation of the Kennedy family when they got their money from Old Man Joe. Mm-hmm. The inheritance tax they paid was like 0.03% because their dad had put everything in tax shelters. I don't think Ted Kennedy was opposed to that. He just doesn't want other people to enjoy the same kind of thing.
Well, you talk about the hypocrisy, but then you shift over to the corruption.
Yeah.
And the corruption is there. How much can be swept under the rug?
A lot.
Apparently.
A lot.
At what point do you trip over the rug?
Yeah. I mean, think about this, Chad. I mean, we all have laws and rules we need to abide by, dealing with corruption, conflicts of interest, that kind of thing. If you work for a company, I mean, there's certain rules and laws. The problem with politicians is they get to write their own rules.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if you got to write your own rules, or I got to write my own rules. It'd be real tempting. I mean, this is what power does. It'd be really tempting to just sort of, well, we're just going to kind of fudge this, or we're going to go really hard on this. I'm not really interested in that,
right,
but we're going to go soft on that. That's the inherent problem is with the political class in Washington. They hide it because there's so much stuff that they can do legally that we can't do because they wrote the rules and determined how that was going to go down.
I mean, that would have to be a full-time job just looking for the loopholes. We're looking for the places where you can get away with things. Peter has a new documentary coming out, as I said, on the Blaze. It's called Riding the Dragon, and I'm excited about this. We're going to share some clips with you. In fact, let's jump into one right now because I want to get some of your commentary on some of these clips. So let's go with number one, guys.
A 2013 trip to China getting new attention this morning, not for what Joe Biden did, but for who he brought with him.
And what was Hunter Biden doing? We're not sure. He doesn't appear in many pictures of the official festivities. But what we do know is this. 10 days after father and son returned to the United States, Hunter Biden's small investment firm announced a $1 billion private equity deal with the Chinese government. And where did the capital come from for this deal? From the Chinese government itself.
So, this is the son of the man who's running for president in the Democratic ticket, all right? It's Hunter Biden. I noticed that every time he plays, the little ad that plays, "We're all about family," Hunter is conspicuously not in the ad, right?
Right.
How real is this?
It's real. I mean, it's a huge problem. The Bidens, look, I've been looking at corruption for more than 10 years. I've called out Republicans, John Boehner, Mitch McConnell. I've called out Democrats. I have never seen a family this corrupt.
Really?
And I mean that in two ways. Number one is the width. There is what I call the Biden Five. Hunter Biden's one of them, but there are four other family members. That's, Joe Biden's daughter, Ashley, his two brothers, James and Frank, and his sister Valerie. All have been involved in corrupt deals that relied on his government power. So I've never seen that many family members implicated, but also the depth. I mean, the corruption we're talking about, particularly with Hunter, with the Chinese government. This is a foreign government that is our chief rival. They want to replace the United States. We're not talking about, some county commissioner giving his kid a paving contract.
Yeah.
This is a deal with a foreign government, and the Bidens were prepared to go there. I think a lot of people in the political class in Washington, if they were offered this kind of deal, would have said, no, that's going a little bit too far. The Bidens didn't. The Biden took the deal. There are multiple deals with the Chinese government. This is at a time when Joe Biden's vice president of the United States, and he's supposed to be setting our policy towards China. His family's getting paid by the Chinese government. I've never seen anything quite like that.
And again, the Biden family, do you think it's because he thought, I'm not ever going to run for president? Right. I think Joe always wanted to be president, but I think he thought the ship had sailed.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's thrust into this group of crazies and comes out as the cream of the crop, which blows my mind. But now you got Joe Biden, of all people, who's there, and that corruption, it's there, it exists, there's proof for it, it's exposed, it's swept under the rug in many cases. But do you think maybe he just thought, well, I can get away with this because this is the last hurrah for me?
It's hard to know. I mean, part of the reason I think a guy like Joe Biden or other people in Washington think they can get away with it is because they have.
Yeah.
They've been, before Joe Biden's vice president, you look at what his family was doing. I mean, Hunter was a lobbyist for a firm that represented entities in Delaware that were lobbying the federal government, while his father's the senator from Delaware. I mean, so that had been going on for years. I think the point is, a lot of times is with politicians, Joe Biden's not any different. There's a sense of entitlement. Joe Biden probably thinks to himself, as a lot of them do, I've been serving the country for 35, 40 years, and I'm not appreciated. And, I'm not hurting anybody by cutting a few corners by my kid or my sibling, getting some kind of deal. So they kind of convince themselves of that. That's the first part of it, is they're entitled to it. But the second thing is they start doing little deals and nobody ever calls them out on it. Still to this day, if you read major newspapers like the Washington Post and the New York Times, you really don't have any idea of how the Biden family is tied to the Chinese government in these commercial deals. You don't. So To a certain extent, I think it's a calculated risk. But yeah, you're probably right too. I'm not sure, the logical time for Joe to run would have been 2016.
Right.
And he chose not to. And I think a lot of people assumed at that time that he was just going to walk into the sunset.
Yeah, just kind of flown on past.
Yeah.
It's, and guys like yourself are bringing it to light. People, you got to open your eyes and take a look. I want you to take another look at this clip from Peter's new documentary on the Blaze, Riding the Dragon. Take a look.
Spring 2017. Patrick Ho, a Chinese businessman, was arrested by the FBI on bribery charges. He worked for a Chinese energy company with close ties to the Chinese military. While in FBI custody, Ho made 2 phone calls. One of those, strangely, is to James Biden, Joe Biden's brother. Why did this man call the brother of the vice president? He was looking for Hunter. This is the remarkable and largely hidden story of the secret financial relationship between the Biden family and the Chinese government.
Mm-hmm. Peter, I'm going to pray for your protection.
I saw a strange Chinese guy in the parking lot.
Man, some of the triads been riding around doing circles in the parking lot. This is crazy stuff. And where is Hunter Biden? I mean, where is he?
I don't know.
Where is he?
I don't know. We know a couple of months ago he was dinged. He wasn't paying his taxes in Washington, D.C. He had a residence in Washington, D.C., and he owed several $100,000 in taxes. So we know he's not paying his taxes. He's playing, pretty low. I mean, he made a brief appearance at the Democratic convention.
Yeah.
But basically, they're trying to sort of minimize Hunter and not put him forward, front and center. The problem is you've got this long history of both Hunter and Joe talking about how close they are and how important how important Hunter is to Joe. So there's no denying how close they are. And Joe Biden has kind of insisted in the past, I don't really know about these deals. Yeah. I mean, he was on a plane for, 14 hours flying to China with his son, and it never came up in the conversation that he was doing deals in China.
Yeah, billion-dollar deals tend to stick out, especially around my house. If my kid's doing billion-dollar deals, I want to find out what's going on with him. The Trump family, they trot out all the kids. They bring them all out. They give speeches. They speak at the convention.
Yeah.
And is conspicuously absent is.
Trump, he's got horrible kids, doesn't he?
They're terrible.
Oh, yeah.
They can't string a sentence together.
Yeah. Well, and here's the funny thing. I have friends who are politically liberal, and they'll say, well, Hunter did, but the Trump kids, Ivanka had that thing in China, and I said, yeah, but the difference is, and it's a fundamental difference.
Yeah.
The Trumps did all of their business before he ever went into politics.
Right.
The point is that Ivanka had a shoe deal. Mm-hmm. Because she actually made shoes and people wanted to buy her shoes. So she had a deal involving China. What we're talking about the Bidens is totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. Their deals are with the Chinese government, and they come solely because of the fact of who Joe Biden is.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden gets this $1.5 billion private equity deal from the Chinese government. He has no background in private equity. When was the last time somebody said, Chad, here's $1 billion. We know you don't know what you're doing in this area, but we're going to give you $1 billion.
I hear I don't know what I'm doing quite often. There's never been $1 billion attached to my ignorance, although I am happy to be ignorant for your money. It is a fundamental difference. I've had that debate numerous times about Ivanka. And, they're like, well, she's got a position in the White House. Yeah, she stepped away from her business. She can step back into it when she's done. She stepped away from her business. There's a big difference in that. And then while you're in the White House making business dealings, or your family is benefiting because of your position of political power. I'm telling you, folks, you've got to watch this documentary. We got 2 months before this election. There's going to be a lot of debate. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to come. There's going to be scandal. I'm telling you, so much is going to happen in the next 2 months. There's going to be violence. I hate to say it, these things, but that's what's going to happen. So I'm encouraging everybody, you got to make sure you get this entire documentary, devour it, own the information that's in it. Peter did the work for you. All you got to do is get it, grab it. How do you do that? The full documentary, it's available now for BlazeTV subscribers. You can use promo code DRAGON20, and that's going to get you it's going to get you $20 off the Blaze annual subscription, actually, which is a great, great deal. And you can see the film. You'll have access to all the Blaze TV content. You can even go back and watch my old episodes of Humor Me. How about that? After Peter opens your eyes, we'll give you a laugh. But it's going to give you all the Blaze content. So for those of you, if you're not yet a subscriber, make sure you subscribe to Blaze TV's YouTube. And the documentary is going to premiere this Friday night. That's right, Friday, September 4th. You don't want to miss this. Become a subscriber today. We'll be right back with Peter Schweizer. We are hanging out with Peter Schweizer here in Studio 22. That's right. It's going to be good stuff. Riding the Dragon. It comes out Friday night. You got to get Blaze TV. You got to watch this thing, devour it, own it, own the material. I mean, I'm talking about names, dates, numbers, everything. Own it. Get into the debate. Let's take a look at another clip here. I want you to walk me through this one after we watch it. Take a minute here. Y'all check this out.
What's interesting is Hunter Biden had no real background in China, in finance, or private equity. In fact, Hunter had what might be called a spotty resume. A couple of youthful jobs, owing directly to his father's influence. He was once made a director of Amtrak based on the fact that he'd ridden on trains. He'd been addicted to crack cocaine, had an unsettled domestic life, and a brief attempt at a naval career ended with a discharge over drug use. So why did the Chinese pick him?
Question.
Yeah.
I mean, we know the answer to that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that I think stands out to all of this. Mm-hmm. So this $1 billion deal that Hunter Biden gets, he's put on the board of directors of this Chinese, government-funded business. His business partner becomes the vice chairman.
Yeah.
It's a deal that nobody else has, and they brag about this. Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, UBS, Morgan Stanley, nobody has this deal except the vice president's son.
Yeah.
And then when you look at his background, the fact that, at the time, I mean, we don't like anybody to have substance abuse issues. It's a sad, tragic thing. But this is a guy that's got a serious substance abuse issue. He doesn't really have any expertise or specialty in this area. So, we have a chapter in the film, and it's, the question is why do they pick Hunter Biden?
Yeah.
Money for nothing. The old saying,
Sure.
They clearly are making him wealthy for a reason. They picked him for a reason. And I believe it has everything to do with the fact that his father's vice president of the United States. And what you notice, and we talk about this in the film, Chad, is that Joe Biden is unusually soft on China. And by unusually soft, I mean he's softer than Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. We have a clip in the film of Barack Obama's national security advisor, a guy named Ben Rhodes, who I don't really probably agree with on much of anything. But he even says China's a much bigger threat than Russia. We need to be concerned about China. Joe Biden doesn't say that. Joe Biden says they're not a threat. There's nothing to worry about. We should welcome a rising China. It's just bizarre when you contrast his views compared to anybody else.
He's LeBron James soft on China. I'm telling you, man. NBA soft.
Yeah.
I go back to the Mitt Romney debate with Barack Obama, and he said, we got Russia. And he said, well, what the 90s called and wants their foreign policy back.
Right.
And turns out, look what happened, right? Suddenly Russia was the biggest enemy we've got, right? They put Donald Trump in office.
Right.
And so when you have Biden who says this about China and underplaying it, there's something afoot. that's there.
I think there is. I mean, the other thing is, Joe Biden leaves the vice presidency in 2017, and they set up the Biden Center at the University of Pennsylvania. And this is like a think tank for foreign policy. Well, you go and look there. It's really interesting. This is supposed to chart the future of America on the world stage. And they have a page where they say, here are the three biggest threats, the three threats, really, that America faces going forward. Russia, of course.
Yeah.
Climate change and terrorism. No mention of China. Now, China has hacked into our government databases, is stealing all this stuff. They're challenging the U.S. military in the South China Sea. They're stealing our technology and trying to replace us as the world's military superpower. But none of that apparently is important to Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So it's mystifying on so many levels. And as we now know, Chad, the Chinese have said, yeah, we want Joe Biden to be president rather than Donald Trump.
Yeah. I mean, how big a cojones have you got to have just to do it right there in front of the American people and everybody? And I mean, the biggest geopolitical foe that we have is China. And you're just going to say, hey, we're just going to do business with you. Yeah. And Hunter of all people.
Yeah.
I mean, forget what he had in the Ukraine, which, I mean, he had no oil and gas experience.
That's right.
So this guy's just mopping up.
You've been the director of Amtrak because you've ridden on trains. The sky's the limit.
The funny line.
That actually came up, when he was up for the Amtrak board, which is this government body. They said, Hunter doesn't have background, but he rides Amtrak all the time. So
that's like somebody in the plane. Hey, can anyone come?
That's what I was going to say. I fly American Airlines daily.
They call you to put you on the board yet?
Yeah, not yet.
Steve would take it.
I would take it.
Steve,
that money.
I'd ride them trains, baby.
That's right.
Oh, give me one more clip. I know you got another one over there. Play that thing. Sold you out.
A 2013 trip to China getting new attention this morning, not for what Joe Biden did, but for who he brought with him.
10 days after father and son returned to the United States, Hunter Biden's small investment firm announced a $1 billion private equity deal with the Chinese government. Perhaps it's personal. Perhaps it's about his family. Perhaps it's about the money.
I don't think that there's a lot of things that would have happened in my life that if my last name wasn't Biden.
Mm-hmm. Peter, I can't wait to watch this.
All that money. Did you see them teeth?
I can't wait to watch this. I can't wait. I'm seriously, I want to study it. I'm going to watch it backwards and forwards and then I'm going to stir up so much crap online. I can't wait to just start tweeting out stuff. I just, when I find stuff like this that's so informative, it just nails it to the wall. I love stuff like that.
Well, I appreciate it. We really left every stone unturned. You're going to learn how this works. And sort of this is emblematic of the problem we have so much in Washington, D.C. And there are people on both sides of the aisle that do it, that really, they're not there to represent you. They're there to represent themselves and whoever's paying you. And, there are some politicians that are for sale. There are a lot of politicians that are for rent. And the concern here, as I said, is you're not talking about Wall Street. You're not talking about American companies, trying to manipulate or steer some legislation for their benefit. You're talking about America's chief rival on the global stage. Mm-hmm. They have the goal and the plan by 2025. The Made in China initiative that they announced, a while ago, they want to supplant the United States as the world's economic superpower. By 2030, they want to be at parity and seek superiority over us militarily. Yeah. And these are the people that the Bidens have gone into business with. That's what I think everybody should be concerned about. Whether you like Donald Trump or like Joe Biden, that's not really the issue here. The issue is, what are the Biden's representing? Who do they have ties to, and who can pull strings to try to get them to do things that they want them to do?
Scary.
Yeah. It's more frightening than anyone can imagine.
Yes.
It really is. Because you're talking about the head of the Loch Ness Monster, Joe Biden, sticking it up in the swamp. I mean, that's when you talk about D.C., that's the sea creature.
Yeah.
The Biden family. I mean, it is the sea creature that's sticking. And people don't understand how deep this thing runs with. I mean, you've had the Clintons, you've had the Obamas, you've had the Bidens, you've had the Pelosi's, you've had all of these major names that are in there. And I'm telling you, this thing did not go the way the script was written when Donald Trump was elected in 2016. This messed everything up for everybody. There was an agenda in place.
Yeah, and it's funny, you hear a lot of people who criticize Trump, and you can say like, well, maybe he shouldn't quite tweeted that, or whatever. But the bigger criticism from a lot of people in Washington is like, well, this is just not the way things are done in Washington.
Right.
That we have certain
It's about
norms.
time.
Yeah. It's like there are certain norms. You're supposed to follow these certain rules, and the question is, why are those rules there? Who put those rules there and for what purpose? And particularly in the area of foreign policy, Trump has kind of come in and said, you know what, we're not going to do things the way that we did them before. We've got this arrangement with Europe, the NATO alliance. Well, we're not going to be subsidizing you guys like we used to. You need to start paying up. A lot of people in Washington get frustrated because Trump has made their life more difficult.
Yeah.
There was a business model, there was a system they had in place to where they could get their way, they could make their money, they could expand their sphere of influence and power. And Donald Trump basically came and knocked all those blocks over and said, we're going to do things differently in Washington. That's why a lot of people in Washington are mad. Mm-hmm. It's not about the substance. It's not about the style. It's about their business model has been upended by this man, and they're angry and resentful that he's done that.
I'll throw one more family name in there also that just went quiet and also didn't vote for Trump was the Bush family.
Right.
That's a powerful name.
Look at you stirring it up.
Yep.
I know. I listen, George W., but that got real interesting when he didn't vote for Trump.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting on China, not so much George W. Bush, who I think, was fairly good on China, but, his brother Neil Bush has long ties where he gets paid millions of dollars by Chinese companies. He doesn't have any expertise in those areas. They're doing it because they want to curry favor. The difference being, of course, with the Bidens is that Joe Biden wants to be president of the United States now.
Yeah.
And he's got this financial tie. The Bushes are in the past and in the rearview mirror.
Yeah,
and,
that's the thing.
But they sure are quiet.
Yes, they
And
are
they're gonna
quiet.
stay
You're
that
exactly
way.
right.
Riding the Dragon. That's the name of the documentary. Peter, thank you for the work. Thank you for the research. Thank you for putting this together. Thank you for the investment of time, energy, finances, everything to make this thing happen. I'm excited to watch it. And, of course, thanks for coming on the show. The full documentary available. BlazeTV subscribers can get it. If you're not a BlazeTV subscriber, you need to be. You can use promo code DRAGON20. Get you $20 off a full year BlazeTV subscription. That's a great deal. Go and get it, see the film, and then you're going to have access to all BlazeTV content. We need it now more than ever. I'm telling you that we got 2 months until this election. You need to educate yourself. This debate is going to get heated. So if you're not yet a subscriber, make sure you subscribe to BlazeTV's YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube, but the documentary is going to be on BlazeTV. It premieres this Friday night, Friday, September 4th. You don't want to miss it. Peter Schweizer, thank you. The name of it, Riding the Dragon. We'll be right back. I can't wait to watch the documentary.
I'm intrigued.
Dude, it just like when I find a resource like Peter Schweizer is, like a Dinesh D'Souza, like a Glenn Beck, I devour the things they say. I listen to even people that I don't necessarily always agree with. You know, I devour because I like the way they say things. I like the way they communicate things. And this is top notch, this documentary. It's phenomenal. Party Foul Steve's watched other movies by the same name.
Yeah, be careful when you're looking up Ride the Dragon and where you're, where you're at. It's Bruce Lee's not in either one of them.
There's so many jokes I can't make out of due respect for Peter Schweizer. But
I won't do it.
but I don't know why all of you aren't subscribed to the Blaze anyway. You get great content. And I know that I've been going back watching episodes of Humor Me, especially the Reverend Swindle.
We watched one yesterday.
Dude, there really is.
The
Reverend Swindle was my favorite. It made so many people mad when I would do y'all got to give. You got to give. You need to be in that baptism of fire and cash. Call the number on your screen.
This past weekend, we were in Ohio and had a gentleman come up to the merch table. He said, "You're the reason I subscribed to the Blaze." And I'm like, and I ain't seen a dime of it.
I'll gladly
all
spend
these
that
fans,
subscription.
Steve
I mean,
has.
he did include
They're
Glenn
missing
Beck's
him.
name and yours, but my name was included in that.
No, if the Blaze would give you a subscription code, you'd probably sell more subscriptions than anybody.
See?
Yeah, probably so, but
It's true.
Yeah.
Promo code Steve. Get you nowhere, but it sounds good.
Promo code PartyFoul Steve.
Oh man, but I'm excited about it. There's some good stuff. There's been some great content that's been coming out. Glenn Beck has been on fire with a lot of his exposés and things that he's been doing on the Wednesday night specials. Jason Buttrell's been doing some great research, and it's Twitterbird approved. Twitterbird approved. I got the #1 comedy album in America. Y'all shut up.
Chad Prather, congratulations.
Well, you're welcome, America.
That's awesome.
The #1 comedy album. It's called Y'all Shut Up. Instant hits like Bumpin' Cousins and Tulsa and Motel 6.
Flipping pancakes.
Flip you like a pancake.
See how she dropped her middle name in there? I mean,
Yeah.
are we going to use middle names? Natalie?
You don't know it.
Anyway, I encourage people, go get Y'all Shut Up. You'll be singing along in no time. 27,000 genders. There is Third Nipple. There's Bossy Toe. There is Motel 6, I think, is my favorite song.
Natalie Ruth?
It's Nicole.
Oh, I thought you were mouthing Ruth as your middle name.
No.
Are you just sitting there trying to promo?
I just want you guys to shut up.
Y'all
shut up.
It is a Chad Prather show. So go ahead, sir.
People say, why'd you name it Y'all Shut Up? Because I just want, most of my life I'm sitting here going, y'all shut up.
But it is Natalie Nicole.
I know it is.
Okay.
I know what your name is. Now all of America still doesn't care.
No, I know. Well, that hurts a little, but you know,
Does it?
you are
Nobody
number one.
cares.
You're number one.
2 L's, 2 T's. Elliot.
Two L's, two T's.
Named for my father. But it's surreal. It's exciting, and I'm thankful for the support. I encourage people to go to watchchad.com where all the fun stuff is and do that. And get BlazeTV. Get it. Mm-hmm. You feeling good?
I feel great.
We're heading towards, we're a day closer to the weekend.
Yep.
Party Foul Steve and I, we're going down with Captain Doug Stanford. We're going to be down there fishing. I am the Grand Marshal for the Trump Boat Parade, Sunday, the 6th, Port Aransas. Get this, Candace. Get this. 1,500 boats.
Yes.
And I am the assistant Grand Marshal.
Unofficial assistant.
Unofficial.
Oh my gosh,
Claim that
I
title.
am jealous.
You should come down.
I'm jealous.
Get in the car, drive
I'm the
down
Grand
to Port
Marshal
Aransas.
for the one in Grapevine.
Are you?
No, but I would be
You
if
would
they
be.
let me.
You so would be. You
I would
should
be.
go topless. I bet they'd make you all kind of things.
I'd do it.
I know you would. I synced it. I've seen you do it.
That's true. On a
I've
tractor.
seen you do all kind of things.
On the tractor.
I'd take you for a ride on my big green tractor, which also is weird if you search that on Pornhub, Steve.
Call
Yeah.
that.
I have
Pervert.
not. I have not
pervert.
searched that.
Shut up, Chance. The ginger soulless rapper. And when I say rapper, I mean WRAP.
Oh, okay. Rev it up.
Like rap. He ain't rap so tight. What are we talking about? 1,500 boats,
That's
though.
awesome.
We're going to do a little fishing. We're going to be down in Port Aransas for the weekend, go out to Rockport, and it's going to be fun. 1,500 boats. That's a lot of boats.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Greta Thunberg would not be happy with that kind of climate change. It's going to happen right there in those waters.
Yeah.
We're going to churn it up, baby. Churn it up. I've never been in a boat parade. I've seen them. We're going to be flying the Chad Prather for Governor 2022 flag on the boat.
On your boat?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, so if you don't have one yet, you can get one of those over at watchchad.com.
How big is your boat?
It's a big boat.
Okay.
My boat's plenty big enough.
Nice.
It's never about the size of the boat, though, really. It's more about how the boat floats and the motion of the ocean.
Motion of the ocean.
Yeah. But it's big enough to fly a flag.
Okay, good.
You know.
You can jump in the water, get all pruny.
I probably won't do that.
Okay.
It stays pretty wet as it is. So it
You want to keep the man in the boat.
It stays sort of, my boat stays sort of wrinkled and wet as it is, because it's just always floating in something.
Okay.
You want to take it down the trail, Natalie? Stand here.
Vote.
Natalie Nicole, I will take it down that trail.
Chad Elliott.
I will do it. We just had a guest named Peter. And that's where my brain goes, people.
Right down the happy trail.
People go, there we go.
Very gubernatorial.
People say, Chad, that's beneath you. You have no idea how far down I can go beneath me. My brain is perverted. It's depraved, people. You know what? Whenever John Calvin came up with the acronym for TULIP for you Calvinists, total depravity, he foresaw me. That was it. 100%. Got something else I'm going to tell you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Let's take to Twitter. Twitter Bird says, let's take to Twitter. This was just the other day. Chris Saliza is Saliza CNN, 2 L's, 2 Z's. He says, CNN at this stage in the game is just satire. I mean, it really is. Trump's efforts to label what is happening in major cities as riots speaks at least somewhat his desperation, politically speaking, at the moment. How many people got to get shot in the head? Mm-hmm. How many buildings have got to burn down before you can call them riots? Mm-hmm. But they're saying that is Trump who's labeling it that way because of his political desperation. I watched the RNC. I don't see a lot of desperation there. Where I see the desperation's on the other side. A lot of desperation.
And Kamala says it's never ending.
Kamala said the riots
are okay,
which were her words,
and should never end.
And will never end. They shouldn't end. They don't need to end. There's some clips out there of them talking about there needs to be civil unrest and they need to take it to the street. And I'm talking about elected. Nancy Pelosi said it. There needs to be.
But they can't take it to the street when it's time to go vote, though.
No, you got to do that by mail.
You got to do that by mail. Why don't you protest
burn down the post office?
Yeah,
protest by mail.
What happens if all the ballots go in the mailbox and then somebody rioting sets the post office on fire? Doom, doom, doom. What happens to all those ballots? I just raised a major question right there.
Yeah.
It's paper. It burns. Mm-hmm. Rock, paper, scissors, fire, baby.
Yeah, because with the protesting and stuff, and they're going to try to stop Donald Trump supporters from going to the post office to vote, right?
Yeah. I've never wanted to be able to carry a concealed weapon to the polls so bad in my life. Really.
And you can't carry one to the post office either.
You can't carry the post office or the polls or anything else. Twitter bird. Twitter bird causes me trouble.
Where are we?
I love the tweets. The tweets love me back. Anyway, make sure you subscribe and get it this Friday night. Subscribe to BlazeTV and you got to watch this documentary. Got to watch the documentary. Use code DRAGON20 so you can see this brand new film by Peter Schweizer. #1 album in America. Y'all shut up. Y'all go get it. I love y'all. God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Bye.